No, wasn't he in the 84 JMW Motorsport Ferrari in GTE AM when Will Stevens was part of that lineup and Rob Smith? I'm pretty sure Dries was in the car then.
Yes.
That's very easily checked.
So,
bear with me.
There's no reason to suppose that Dries might be feeling the pressure at this point, given that level of experience. We're on lap 155.
10 minutes to go.
Out of what will be a 157-lap race. The question for Kevin Estre at the moment is, will he be able to get by before 24 hours and go on to his 157th lap as well? We've got the race leader coming out of Tiergarten at the moment. Look across to our right out of the box here.
And Johnny is going to tell us about Dries' class wins at Le Mans.
2017, the Le Mans 24 Hours, he was victorious in GTE AM for JMW Motorsport with Will Stevens and Rob Smith.
Remembered, yes.
Yeah. It's only because the 84 Ferrari is going pretty well 7 days ago, and we were also trying to remember the last time Ferrari had won at Le Mans. I think it was 2014 in Pro, but only 2 years ago in GTE AM with the year-old cars.
The leader then, Dries Vanthoor, on to lap 156 now.
One more after this for him.
Here comes the Porsche.
If he wants it.
The Porsche wants it desperately to get onto this extra lap. Now, he took 5 seconds off on the previous lap. More traffic, though, for Kevin Estre to deal with. Into the pits as they come through the start-finish line. Here's
Estre. Estre's gone through with 8:38 to go. So I think if he has any type of a decent lap, he will get onto that last lap and be able to put a bit more pressure. He's got cars ahead of him.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll should get through. And that gives him one extra lap, as you were saying, John, to catch up with Dries Vanthoor.
So it will be 157, barring anything bizarre, for those two only.
And the checkered flag will come out, though, when Hubert Haupt in the number 3, third-placed Black Falcon Mercedes comes through at the end of his 156th lap, because at the moment Hubert Haupt is all the way around Verseifen. In fact, he hasn't even reached Verseifen yet.
And where's Christopher Haas in
the number
in relation
14.
to the Mercedes there?
It's just coming out of
a minute, 56 seconds?
Yeah, it's coming out of sector 5 at the moment.
That'll be disappointing for that team, having to give up a podium position for a splash of fuel. 4 laps to go.
Well, they kind of set the tone, really, once it was clear that the Lant car was the better placed car, and René Rast and Christopher Haas jumped ship, went over to the Lant team, with both of them having the option which car they drove, whether it was them who actually made the decision or somebody higher up in the Audi organisation. I suspect probably the latter. But it did mean that the number 14 car had to make do for the most part of the race with Marcel Fessler and Markus Winkelhock. Christopher Haas coming back to that car towards the end of the race to do the final stints. Massively
clear run for the leader before he gets anywhere near back markers, about a third of a lap.
That one is only showing SP9.
Really?
Cars,
okay,
so
right,
I can make it show everybody if you want.
No, that's fine. At least I can see where both of them are.
And the 14 car, we must remember, didn't even take part in top qualifying because it ended one of the sessions on the end of a tow road, on a flatbed, in fact. And they hadn't made the top 28 by that point. I think it started on the grid in 29th position, and the first of the cars not to be, therefore, in the chevron formation, the Le Mans style formation, as the cars were gridded up. So from 29th to 4th, and it might have been 3rd, is a good run for that 14 car collection Audi.
Klingenhaus inside the top 10 at 9.
And now I've put
Nissan at 10th.
Now I've put all the cars on that map, John. Your initial point was absolutely right. Kevin Estre does have a very clear run. The traffic ahead is going to hinder Dries Vanthoor more sooner than it hinders Kevin Estre.
Out of the pit lane, the foxtail is flapping.
Here we go.
It's not quite as it left the grid yesterday. There's a bit more white tape over it, but it's a pretty good effort of getting that car looking at its best, considering what it was. And there's a round of applause from the Mercedes-Benz arena. Even BMW fans are clapping. Even the leading Audi team claps that car out. Fantastic stuff. That is so much a part of this race. I presume it was Walter Strajcek who took it out.
I think not, actually.
Really?
Let me just check.
Walter Strajcek I worked with many years ago when I was with RML. He was head of the OPC, Opel Performance Centre, and we did a few projects, quite a lot of projects for OPC.
We've got Olaf Beckman on the
Right.
Me too.
driver ID. So
Well, it was
there him.
Olaf who crashed the car, so he gets to do the glory laps. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's been patched together with new parts with the Cupra team who lost their own car. It was the FEV team over the barriers
Yes.
at the end of the Foxhole.
Horrible looking accident.
They worked right through the night to get that car back together. It's had to be taped up and patched up, but it's a good 10-footer.
Yeah,
From
oh,
10 foot away, it looks pretty good.
absolutely. The front left wing is slightly off-white. It might even be grey.
I think that's primer.
Who cares?
Yeah, I think that's primer grey.
Yeah.
I really do. But they've put the decals on that need to be on there.
They'll spray it up afterwards, and it'll be out for the next VLN race as well, second weekend of July. No trouble.
I'm looking forward to that already. So we have an extra flappage in the last run around. It will be the last lap for that car. The checkered flag will be out next time around, but Dries Van Toor will cross the line with about between 45 seconds and a minute to go. This is fantastic that we're seeing so much love and affection for this Manta. Over 100,000 kilometres raced here on the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and it's heading out for one last run. This year, I have no doubt that it will be back again. Such a fan favourite, and it's on the Nordschleife with 3:21 to go. That will be its last lap for this year. It won't be classified. They don't care. They're getting it to the finish, which, Johnny, is the absolute essence of this event and endurance racing.
All is right with the world once again at the Nürburgring Nordschleife, because a 24 hours around this place cannot be completed without the Opel Manta. Carrying two race numbers, remember, that's the old number 601 on the windscreen. Sometimes it runs in the H categories, but it's an SP3 car this weekend, and Olaf Beckman completing the lap that he wasn't able to do much earlier in the race.
Spare a thought as well for Wayne Moore on his 25th anniversary at the Nürburgring. His car has been retired unless some magic can be woven. Trying to keep an eye on the pit lane exit as well, but that car hasn't been seen for about 6 hours now, so I suspect it won't be coming out. But having said that, we didn't see the Manta for something more like 10 hours, and it still put it in the performance.
And let's also mention, although it hasn't made it to the end, the 50 BMW had an engine changed because they didn't want that car, which it is its last outing here in that guy's, the Z4. Eventually went out with crash damage, didn't it? And also remember that GT Golf, which had pretty much everything replaced,
that's still going,
and that is still going.
Yep.
That is still going. As we said earlier, it probably won't do, it will not do enough laps to be classified, but not a single person in that all-female team of drivers and engineers and mechanics will care one jot about that. And they will be, I hope, justly proud. I hope they'll be very proud indeed that they have got that car, that GT Golf, to the end. Now we're starting to get people. The Calibra's pulled up. Here comes Van Toor. There's some people who don't want to do an extra lap, and Van Toor does. So he's streaking past them as he comes under the Bilstein Bridge for his penultimate time with 1:12 to go. No doubt he's going to get onto the last lap. Where is the Porsche number 911 of
just coming
Estre?
onto the Dottinger Hoa now, I reckon. He's having to make his way through a bit more traffic than in the end. He got more traffic, the Porsche. But so going through with still a minute to spare. Dries Van Toor in the Audi for Phoenix Racing.
Now 45 seconds and the Porsche's got to get through, and there's a lot of cars stacking up on the Dottinger Hoa. He's slowed down.
On the Dottinger Hoa.
He's slowed down. He's not going to do it.
Nah.
Manthey, I think they've probably sent the word out and said, don't do it. They're going to give them the lap. They're going to give them the laps win.
Yeah.
24 seconds to go. Kevin Estre is not trying. He's coming to the line. They realise that this is not to be theirs, and they are going to respectfully hand the lead lap for just one car to the Audi number 4.
I have absolute respect for that. The only thing that grieves me slightly is that when you read the results in years to come, it will look like the race was won by a whole lap, and clearly it hasn't been.
No.
The live stream.
Checkered flag is out, and seeing it first, the BMW. That's one of the cars painted up like the track that had problems earlier on. Finishes in 62nd position. The Mantis come through. The KTM Crossbows are going through there. The alternative fuel Viper has got to the end.
Yes, I did get to the end after a long and troubled night, but it's been running fairly well all this morning, since about 8 o'clock this morning. So a good round of applause for that Viper, and he will be classified, I think, in the AT class in 4th place.
Through comes the second place car, flashing the lights, allowing a couple of BMWs to come up alongside. Oh, don't squeeze them in the wall, Kevin. He's gone right over to the team. Always a dangerous time. We've seen accidents there before when people have been dawdling across the line. The Calibra's gone across the line as well, inside the top 100. One of the teams are going to be very unpopular for firing off the confetti cannon on the pit lane. Well, that's very classy by Porsche and by Manthey Racing. Manthey could not be any more local. They are just around the corner off the Gottlieb Daimlerstrasse. Now in the hands of Porsche, but still very much carrying Olaf Manthey's name, and the MR on the back of any car's descriptor means that it has been put together with love, care, passion and an understanding for racing on the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and they have given the lead lap exclusively to the victors, and Dries Van Toor has now got a proper victory lap with the patched up BMW looking like an art car in some respects, as it's at the top of the foxhole now. Dries won't be quite the last car to come across the checkered flag and take the win, but he won't be far out. Well, an extraordinary race. Johnny Palmer, your thoughts as Dries Van Toor is on his way back round to his team, who are waiting patiently and still slightly nervously for that car to come back the last 20k's or so.
Well, this race has done it again in sheer unpredictability. I don't think anybody really thought an Audi could win this weekend because of the dominance of Mercedes and Porsche in the qualifying sessions, and then in the top qualifying, that they kind of just do what they do, Audi. They don't do anything flamboyantly in the midweek sessions, but they have a plan. And yes, they needed 1 or 2 cars to fall away at the sharp end, but they now will have won this race 3 times in the last 5 years. It's been a little bit of a wait for Phoenix Racing. Their last victory in this race 2014, but nice for Dries Van Toor to now join his older brother as a winner of this race. Laurens completing the victory in 2015 when he was with Audi, has since moved on to the Porsche brand, of course. We've had victories for Lant Motorsport 2 years ago, Team WRT 4 years ago, and then in 2014 it was the last Phoenix Racing victory when Christopher Haase, Christian Mamero, René Rast and Marcus Winkelhock were victorious in the longest race so far in the history of the M24, 159 laps. We came close to it this year, 157. And as Paul says, this will appear to be a dominant victory on paper when the result sheet is printed. It's been far from that.
Whilst we wait for our winner to come round, he's about halfway around at the moment. Let's have a look at some of the classes, if we may, Paul. Just scroll to the top of that one. There we are. Frank Mayer brings home the Scuderia Cameron Glickenhaus SCG 003C in 9th position, winning SPX. It's Milner Motorsports Porsche in SP7, the 62 car 15th, 18th Tobias Muller for Black Fulgham, Mercedes in SP10, SP3T Subaru all the way through the race, 19th position for the 88 car, 20th for Bernard Hensel, GT Tyre Motorsports Audi R8 LMS. Didn't see much of that car, but it's won SP8. The 320 Porsche GT3 Cup 180 for Team Care for Climate finished 22nd overall. Inside the top 30 for Schminkler Performance, Porsche Cayman GT4 CS, the number 80 car, winning SP6. Aston Martin Racing up to 28th position, and Peter Cage brings home the new Vantage on its debut at this event to win SP83. There's a little golf clap from Paul Truswell just to my left. The 29th position is another race winner and class winner for Tim Mathol Racing. The Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 Club Sport has taken the victory in Cup 3, just outside the top 30, but making up a position on the last lap. Picks up Team Adrenaline Motorsport, one of 2 winners for that team. The Class 5 Cup, the BMW M240 racing car, the 240 wins it. 42nd, Tiago Montero wins TCR for Team Castrol Honda Racing with the Honda Civic in 42nd. In 55th, Vasily Selivanov for Black Falcon Team Techstar, the Porsche Carrera V6 winner, 133. 56 car, number 59th on the road for Takemitsu Matsui, Toyota Gazoo Racing's Lexus wins SP Pro. 60th position, Fabian Finnick for FK Performance Motorsports, Porsche Cayman team wins V5. Daniel Bohr for Timeman Racing GmbH, KTM Crossbow GT4 wins the Crossbow Cup X, we should say Cup Cross Class. TMG United Motorsport, Toyota Motorsport rather, the GT86 wins SP3. Christoph Mag brings home the number the 70th position car. That's the 152nd from the winners from Picks Up Team Adrenaline Motorsport, the BMW E90 325i. Kurt Stroop has brought home the 84 Manhella Racing BMW F30 V2 team winner in 84th. 93rd, Uwe Legerman for Leuthese Racing and Events, BMW 1M Coupe wins SP5. SP4 goes to another BMW at 325i, the E90 shaped car. The 94th place finisher, Sebastian Schemann, driving that one to the line. 110th position, Jose Visa for MSC Zinzig, the VW Golf wins SP4T, V3T, Porsche 718, Ralph Zenzen 718 in 121st, and Team Speedline Racing's BMW will be scored, but that car has been withdrawn. And all of that in the time that it has taken our leader to do the last half of the lap, because he is eased off and he is gently moving towards the line. Paul Truswell, what a cracker, and an hour and 10 minutes led by Audi, the only important hour and 10 minutes. In fact, the only important next half a kilometre has been led by Audi, by Dries van Toor and by the rest of the number 4 Audi team.
Yeah, 16 laps in the end led by that Audi, including the one that it's on at the moment. And I think Mr. Doolan said it right. He said it was the race that nobody wanted to win. That Black Falcon Mercedes, his Black Falcon Mercedes, that led the race. It could have won the race. Indeed, it led twice as many laps as the Phoenix Audi did. But a superb performance from them as they come up to the line now, John.
I don't care whether the reports of a puncture for Manthey are true or not. That was still pretty classy that they did push at the end. But through and across the line to win the 2019 47th running of the ADAC 24 Hours at the Nürburgring. The names that will go on the trophy are that of Kaffer, Stippler, Vervish and Van Toor. Dries van Toor joins his older brother as a winner and brings home the number 4 Audi. What a run. It's not in bad nick, just a tiny little bit of the rear guard behind the right rear wheel, Johnny Palmer, that's missing from that. But other than that, it looks in pretty good nick. Yeah,
that was after the Phoenix Audi was side to side on many occasions with the 29 Lant car, and it looks like at times it had adopted part of the livery of the Lant car. It was tough to tell those two cars apart as they were smacking sections out of one another at the end of the Dottinger Hill.
Casual agent John writes the headline for all of the motorsport journalists. Phoenix from the ashes.
Oh, very clever. Yeah, and Peter Kate coming home right at the end there with the Aston Martin. He knows how to stage a good finish, because which I'm not sure that he has come through yet. Still waiting.